Welcome to the Next Level Facebook Ads Podcast with Phil Graham. We help you master Facebook ads and give you an unfair advantage over your competition. Are you ready? Let's go.
What's up, everybody? Phil Graham here. Let's jump into the Next Level Facebook Ads Podcast, episode 342. Today, I'm going to share 5 major Facebook and Instagram ad blunders and mistakes that so many people are making, including agencies, so you don't make those same mistakes. You know, there's an epidemic of people running ads, and like I said, even agencies and some so-called experts that are making lots of mistakes consistently. And then when their ads fail, they blame it on Facebook or they blame it on the algorithm or some other crazy thing. That's not how it should be. So I am glad you're here. This episode should be super valuable. If you are in the US, I hope you guys had a great Thanksgiving weekend and Black Friday and Cyber Monday and all that good stuff. We certainly did. And I'm looking forward to the holiday season that we're in right now. So it should be a lot of fun for the rest of the year. And then I'm super excited for 2024. And I hope you are too, because there are so many great opportunities. By the way, if you guys are looking to connect, if you're looking for some one-on-one coaching so you can learn ads the right way, or if you're looking for somebody to run your ads for you, and then you can just focus on what you love doing or what you do best, for either of those things, you can go to my website, philgrahamdigital.com, or DM me on Instagram at philgrahamdigital. I've got a Facebook group as well that starting in 2024 in January, I'm going to start spending a little bit more time in, and that would be a great place that you could ask questions and get additional support. Also, you could always DM me for the link, or if you want to find it on Facebook, the group name is Next Level Ads, and I would love to see you there. So I want to jump into these 5 major blunders that so many advertisers are making because, my friends, these can be very, very costly. Mistake number 1 is running ads or ad sets with budgets that are way too small, and or they're running way too many at once on a small budget. There are so many times when I've seen somebody doing this, whether they learned it from somebody else or from some random YouTube video, or they're just doing it themselves, and they're running like 5, 10, 15, 20 different ads that are all tiny budgets, like $2 or $3 or $4 or $5 a day. And the problem is, for most of you, when you do that, you're never going to know what works and what doesn't work. You're spreading yourself way too thin. It's going to take so long to even know what worked, and 99% of you are probably turning that off way before you would ever get to that point. That is not the right way to go about it, in my opinion. I highly recommend not running tons of ads with tiny budgets. It's just not going to work very well in a lot of situations. Now, does that mean it never works? No, there's always exceptions, of course. But in our best practices, it does not work. And we rarely do this because, again, you spread your budget way too thin. And it's going to take way too long to ever know what works and what doesn't. In fact, most of the time, you'll never know. And that's a big problem. So I recommend running reasonable ad sets. And of course, this is all relative and it depends on how much you have for a total budget. But let's say you had $20 a day to spend and that's it. That's fine. You can work with that. But I wouldn't be running a bunch of $2 and $3 ads. I would probably go a minimum of $10 a day on each ad. So that would be 2 ads or 2 ad sets going. I wouldn't have 10 different things competing for that small $20. That's not how we do it. And that's not how I recommend doing it, because I think a lot of people waste money when they do too many ads with too small of a budget. Mistake number 2 that I see people making all the time is having someone inexperienced run their ads, whether that is them doing it themselves, which there's nothing wrong with you doing your own ads. You should do that if you want to do it and you want to learn, but you should be learning from somebody, whether it's me or somebody you trust, so you do it the right way. But a lot of times it's either somebody themselves, or having somebody else do it for them, but it's someone who's like on the cheaper side of things. I'm trying to be as nice as I can when I say this, who have no clue what they're doing. In fact, there's people right now selling courses on how you can become an ad agency with no skill and knowing nothing. You can just outsource everything to others that have no skill and know very little, and you can get clients and stuff like that. These people are doing this with your brand on the line and your money. It's everywhere. It's insane. You know, what's more important to your business than your brand and getting in front of potential customers and clients? There's not a whole lot more things that are as important as that. So it always blows my mind when people take one of the most critical, important things to their business and give that to somebody that has no clue what they're doing, because they're going to charge you a small amount of money. And then they're going to just screw it up, or they're going to outsource it to somebody who doesn't know what they're doing. And they're playing with your money and your brand. I hate seeing this mistake. So many people come to me after getting screwed by this and losing a lot of time and money and getting frustrated. And I hope that's not a mistake you're making. If you are making that mistake, stop, because there's a better way. Mistake number 3. This is a big one. This is common even with experienced advertisers, and that is not knowing why an ad that you ran didn't work, or even if it did work, you don't know why either. So you don't know why it didn't work, or if it did, you don't know why. That is no man's land or no woman's land, because here's the thing. Let's say you run something and you're not sure, you don't know why it didn't work. Well, if you don't know why it didn't work, then how can you learn from that? How can you actually proceed forward and spend your money smarter if you don't know why something didn't work? If you learn and figure out why it didn't work, what was the cause? Was it the audience? Was it the ad angle, or the headline, or the creative, or the offer? You have to learn how to analyze data to figure that out. But if you do know why it didn't work, then you can actually make better, smarter decisions to fix it and to get something that does work. And then conversely, when you've got ads that actually are working, most people could not tell you why. They might tell you what they think might be the reason, but they don't know for sure. They can't really say. If that's the case, then how great of a situation is that anyway? Because if you try and scale and you're not sure why it's working, then how can you confidently put more money into it without worrying about losing money? If just adding budget to it a lot of times doesn't mean you're just going to make more money. You might need to scale that to other audiences, or in different ways, or different objectives. But if you don't know why it worked in the first place, how can you make those decisions? So even though you're making some money, you try and make more from it, and then you start losing money. That's not good. So these are big mistakes when it comes to knowing why something didn't work and why it did work. And that takes testing and time and strategy and all that stuff. And there's some situations where you're never going to know exactly, but when you do it enough, you have a great feel for it, and you can make much better, smarter decisions that can very much give you a better chance of success, and hopefully save you money and stop you from just randomly running ads, flushing money down the toilet. Mistake number 4 is testing ads the wrong way, or not testing at all, which is also super common. A lot of people running ads either don't test, or they think they're testing, but it's like an apples and oranges comparison. There are so many times I've looked at an ad and I've asked somebody, hey, what are you testing? And they'll tell me. And then I'll look at the 2 different things that are kind of competing against each other. And one of the ads will have, like, I'm just going to give a random example. It spent like $1,000. It had, I can't remember the impressions, but I'm just going to give a random number. It had, like, let's say 100,000 impressions. And the ad they were testing it against spent like $12 and had like 140 impressions. Well, how can you compare an ad with 140 impressions to an ad that had 100,000 impressions? It's impossible. You have no idea which one is better. In fact, the one that hardly has any impressions might be the winner, and you just don't know it. And because of the way that people test, sometimes it'll just keep going on like that forever, indefinitely. And they never know which one is better. They think they know because Facebook is just giving a certain one more impressions and more budget, but they're setting themselves up in a way to kind of fail if they're doing that test in that manner. When I test, I give equal budgets to the things I'm testing. I'm testing apples to apples, and I'm doing it in a way where I'll know which one worked better than the other. I don't have to guess, and it's not going to take 10 years to find out. So don't make the mistake of testing things the wrong way, and don't make the mistake of not testing, because so much of your potential success comes from testing things and doing it properly. And last but not least, mistake number 5. I've talked about this often because it is so common. A lot of you are probably doing this, and that is turning ads off too soon. I'm telling you, some of our biggest winners did not start off that way. Sometimes it took a few days or a few weeks or longer for an ad to really start crushing it. And we definitely saw some things in the data that led us to believe that it could be good. So it's not like we were just randomly flying blind, hoping it does good. We're looking at data, we're evaluating data, and we're seeing things that give us reasons to keep it on. What most people do is they launch an ad and it either works or it doesn't work in their mind over the course of a few days or a week, and then they turn it off or give it more budget based off of what happens. And the people that are doing that, oh my goodness, so many times you're probably turning off a very profitable ad because you think it's not working, yet you just didn't give it enough time. It didn't get enough impressions. It didn't get in front of the right people. You've got to learn how to keep things on longer. And you also conversely have to learn how to not keep them on too long if they're not working. And that's where experience and skill and knowledge and data evaluation comes in, which is a lot of things that can make the difference between failure or success when you're running ads. So my friends, these 5 mistakes are super, super important. I hope you're not making them. Just make sure that you guys focus on the data, tune out all the other crap, and stop making mistakes that can cost you money or cost you time. And of course, don't forget, there's always exceptions to every rule, but for the most part, these mistakes, and we've run lots of ads over the years, these mistakes are not mistakes I would want to be making, and I encourage you guys to not make these mistakes with your ads as well. Episode 342 is in the books. Thank you guys so much for listening. I've got some great stuff coming up next week. I will talk to you then, my friends. Peace out.
Thanks for listening to the Next Level Facebook Ads Podcast. Please remember to subscribe and share this with all your friends. For show notes, more tips, and to learn more about Phil, please visit philgrahamdigital.com/podcast.